If you believe a better world starts from within, you're in the right place. Welcome to Hold the Light. I'm Lori Gunning-Grossman, founder of Hold the Light Collective. This is a special series, a guided exploration of the Freedom Transmissions, a spiritual book about building a strong inner foundation so you can show up more authentically in your life and in the world. Let's begin. The Thread and Stitching of the Dreaming, Part 2, pages 96 through 106. Here we continue moving through the chapter, The Thread and Stitching of the Dreaming, which we started in a prior episode. In that episode, we talked about how, in our origin story, our soul is woven and stitched into our body through our DNA, our chakras, bones, blood, and heart. We also have our spirit body, which is the invisible space around us, the strings, threads, and energy that connects us to the great web of life. So here's one way to think of it. Think of the body and soul like a spider, and our spirit body as the silk that the spider uses to create its web, connecting to the larger web of life, or the external world, in both seen and unseen ways. As I mentioned in that prior episode, it might be helpful to think of threading and stitching as vibrations in waves. Our energy is our vibration. Everything is made of energy. So something that's important for us to continuously do is to look at what and who we're matching our energy to. What and whose frequency are we on? And what frequency are we allowing into our energy space? In other words, what are we allowing to stitch to us, and what are we stitching to, including people, organizations, businesses, groups, and really anything under the umbrella of those 7 imbalances. This is part of our work here as souls and body. So in this chapter, we start digging into what's referred to in the Freedom Transmissions as the wheat and the chaff, which we will also dive deeper into in Transmission 2. Today, we'll talk more about unstitching and unbraiding. We talk about the power of committing to our inner process. We take a look at grief, what it means, and why it's an energy to be honored. And we discover what is considered the only stitch that matters right now. This is The Thread and Stitching of the Dreaming, Part 2. Let's begin by taking a look at these words, wheat and chaff. In Yeshua's teachings, he's referring to the wheat as our soul and spirit, or our consciousness, or divine presence, and the chaff as the body, form, and matter. Here we begin to talk about separating the wheat from the chaff. But what does that mean to separate? Here we'll discuss 2 different meanings. The first meaning of separating the wheat from the chaff refers to physical death. So in this case, when we die, the body or chaff is returned to the earth, and our soul or wheat unstitches from form and returns to, or unites with, divine spirit. While our physical body comes to an end, including all of our imbalances or anything of matter, our spirit energy can never be destroyed. The second meaning of separating the wheat from the chaff is more of an internal separation from what isn't in alignment to your soul's evolution. Basically, it's separating yourself from anything that isn't of resonance or value. Within this meaning, what we learn is that when we unstitch the wheat from the chaff within ourselves, we are unstitching from imbalances of the ego, such as unconscious thoughts and behaviors, stagnancy, shame, and inaction, and are restitching to the realm of infinite possibilities. This is the weaving upon the web of light. This is when our heart, or we could call it our consciousness, guides us, our mind, or let's call it our subconscious, abides by us, and our soul, the superconsciousness, works with the spirit body to call in our true needs as opposed to our wants. Let's talk about this for a minute. Needs versus wants. We learn here in the Freedom Transmissions that spirit serves needs, not wants. This goes for how we serve too, since we are spiritual beings. We're here to serve needs, not wants, in ourselves and to others. How do we know that we're serving needs? Because it will feel effortless and joyful. And how do we know that we're serving wants and expectations? Well, that tends to feel fussy and complicated. Back to separating the wheat from the chaff. Under this second meaning, the internal separation, it also means separating the worthless from the valuable to you. This isn't judging whose worth is greater or lesser, or who's right or wrong. It means separating from the parts of you that feel unworthy, anxious, fearful, or any tendencies you may have towards denial, judgment, and withholding. Basically, this is separating yourself from the aspects of self and others who weigh you down, mitigate your worth, and do not serve your soul's expansive evolution. Tying to this thought, in this chapter, we receive the prostration prayer from Yeshua. This is found on page 97. It calls for us to know our worth and to acknowledge it in everyone and everything as well. I'll read it to you here. The prostration prayer. Your worth is equal to mine, beloved. My worth is equal to yours, beloved. Those who blame or I have blamed, your worth is equal to mine, beloved. My worth is equal to yours, beloved. Those who shame or I have shamed, your worth is equal to mine, beloved. My worth is equal to yours, beloved. Those who guilt or I have guilted, your worth is equal to mine, beloved. My worth is equal to yours, beloved. Those who judge or I have judged, your worth is equal to mine, beloved. My worth is equal to yours, beloved. Those who have failed me or I have failed, your worth is equal to mine, beloved. My worth is equal to yours, beloved. You are the beloved, as am I. I am the beloved, as are you. We are one in divine grace, divine power, divine truth, divine love. Om Nami Yeshua. Amen. The prostration prayer is a prayer of equality of worth, so it's having a deep reverence for all life is equal, even if what we value isn't the same as what someone else values. Say this prayer often if it feels right. I've even heard of someone who said this prayer every day for 2 years, so work with it however it feels best. Separating the wheat from the chaff, it is an unstitching from the imbalances of the mind and the 3 veils, which we covered in the Sacred Heart transmissions in part 1 of the book. Essentially, separating the wheat from the chaff is separating from separation. Here we are to consider, what do you wish to focus on in your life? Do you want to look at yourself in life through the lens of the chaff or through the lens of the wheat? Viewing life through the chaff, your body, your external life, mind, thoughts, and wants, sees only that which is seen and transient. While it can bring us a level of happiness, it requires much work and effort to experience fleeting moments of happiness. According to the book, this isn't living life in freedom, it is enduring life, toiling through life. Focusing on the chaff, you may do many things, but you never really evolve beyond a few tiny steps. And while essential to our evolution, the chaff limits us. Viewing life from the wheat, our spirit and inner self, believes in the unseen and is timeless. When we focus on the wheat or our soul, we will experience more freedom and a liberation because we're more internally focused instead of outer focused. The book teaches us, focus on the internal with humility and love does shift and transform your external reality. You cannot single-handedly transform the world, the external, but you can transform your inner world, and that transforms your external reality in time as well. Our focus is a choice. We've all heard that saying, where your energy goes, attention flows. This is the same here. We do need to give attention to our body and to treat it well because it's the vessel of our soul and spirit. One supports the other. However, as it says in the book, the unfurling, echoing, and service of your wheat, your soul and spirit, unto the world is the greatest calling you could answer. This is a time to question anything that keeps you out of balance, including your fears of loss or pain. This is a time to unstitch from people, places, and things that don't bring you a feeling of spaciousness, freedom, peace, and kindness. It's time to stop the self-sabotage. It's time to stop creating your own pain. And it's a time to respect your spiritual journey. Stop putting it off for another day or when you have more time. I mean, how many times have you said you'll start meditating or journaling or practicing acts of self-care for your spiritual life once you get that job or your family is settled or your to-do list is all checked off or your kids leave for college or you've decluttered your home or any other excuses you tell yourself? Again, this is a choice. Take the time to advocate for your soul and spirit. Will you love yourself enough to take the time for balance in your life? To stop looking outside of yourself for answers? There's no guru or healer or psychic medium who'll save you. As we're encouraged, resolve where you will say yes to change. Resolve if you're willing to move into surrender within instead of setting the terms to feel safe enough to do so. Leap, resolve, and commit. No one outside of yourself can do this for you. Commit to your own inner process. This is not a time to rest in complacency, polarity, or separation. It's really a co-creative path between you and the divine. If there are things in your life that you feel keep you out of balance or out of joy or a feeling of peace and freedom, ask for something greater than yourself for resolution. This is one of my favorite quotes from the book. It's found on page 101. You are not made to be in life. You are made of life. Do not deny yourself the joy of living. You're not here to fear. You're here to love. As you choose love over the violence that is fear and cease your feeble, arrogant judgments, all of you will receive the same. That is how you change the world. Through the inner self before any progress can be made in your external reality. Let's just take a quick look at grief, which will be talked about more in later transmissions. Here, the teachings tell us that grief is the energy of letting go. It says that grief comes the moment when there's been a change, expected or unexpected. You're vulnerable. Out of nowhere, no matter how much you've prepared, there is the trauma, the reality that something is being let go. Grief can come as we say goodbye to an old story we've held on to, and it's not until we can accept the letting go of an old stitch that we can start to begin on a new path. This could be saying goodbye to a loved one, leaving a relationship or career, healing from an illness, or losing something we thought that was important to our identity. This is what grief is. It's a change to our story, a loss of identity. It's a loss of our perception of self. It is an unstitching. Everyone right now is dealing with their own level of grieving. This is a time for having compassion for ourselves and other. Everyone has their own way of processing grief. So let's take a look at what you're stitched to in your tapestry of self. Consider if what you're stitched to resonates. Look for simplicity. Look for connection and joy. If your relationships, jobs, friends, activities, groups, or what you read, watch, and listen to bring you a feeling of fear, shame, blame, or discontent, ask yourself if you want to continue being stitched to those things. There's only one stitch that matters right now, and it's your heart. As the book says, any love knot that keeps you out of your sacred heart, simplicity, stability, surrender, and stillness is the most important to focus your awareness on to transform. Anything that blocks you from feeling peace, freedom, joy, and balance is calling for you to shine your flashlight on, to take a look at it and ask yourself, if this no longer serves you, are you willing and ready to let it go so that you can make space for new possibilities and new braids to stitch to? At the end of this chapter, on page 106, Yeshua gives some writing homework, so be sure to read or listen to it because there are some specific instructions to follow. Until then, here are the questions you can start thinking about. What do I need to have faith in? What do I need to forgive and be forgiven for? What do I need to be free from? Here's your focus until the next episode. Read or reread Shades of Hope, found in Part 2, The Freedom Transmissions, Transmission 2, The Wheat and the Chaff, pages 109 through 121. In the audiobook, listen to Shades of Hope, found in Part 2, The Freedom Transmissions, Transmission 2, The Wheat and the Chaff. All links and information are in the show notes, in addition to a Google form where you can ask any questions that come up for you. Thanks all. Keep holding the light. If this series is resonating with you, I'd love to stay connected. Visit holdthelightcollective.com to sign up for my weekly newsletter, Build the Light. It's where I share good news for the soul, plus my latest events and offerings. All links are in the show notes. And if this podcast has meant something to you, the most generous thing you can do is share it with someone. Hold the Light is produced by me, Lori Gunning-Grossman, with additional producing and sound design by Jonathan Grossman, who also wrote our original theme music. Until next time, keep holding the light.